Hey everyone, how you doing today? We have ourselves a new little friend. Well, more like a giant friend. Okay, this is a Cub Cadet snowblower. And it is a 3X, it's 26 inches. It's a 3 stage. And it's this Model 3 version. And I think these might be from 2016 to 2018, I think. Anyway, here's what we have. We have ourselves the auger control. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 forwards and 2 reverse. Directional. This will be the throttle, and then underneath these yellow pieces, these kind of like assist you to turn it to the right or left. So that one's going to be on the right, and this is going to be on the left. This knob here controls the chute. It's going to turn that like that. So that's what that does. Okay. And then over here, we have a fuel tank. Let's see what kind of, so what's inside the fuel tank. That's a lot of fuel. Well, there you go. Okay. And on this side, we have an electric start. Got to plug it in right here with an extension cord. And then we have the electric start button. This is the rewind or pull start. Take a look at it from here. Okay. Down here we have, it's like the engine housing. Engine housing. Primer bulb. This will be what you would adjust when you first turn it on, so you would go all the way to the left and make it fast. Set it all the way to the left. Okay. On this side here we have a this is a key. Alright, I think it's a key. Yeah, it's a key. Ignition key? Yeah. Alright. So you pull that out. Sorry. Pull that out. You want to stop it. Not sure what this is. Let's take a look. Okay. And it's the choke. Yep, it's definitely the choke. Alright, so choke here. This is a heat warning, so obviously there's a muffler somewhere here. Don't touch it, it gets hot. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. And this is OHV. Engine design, so that's overhead valve. That's what that means. Okay, spark plug will be here, and this will be the exhaust, which is why it says don't touch up here. All right, let's go have a look. The problem, right? This it said that. Oh, sorry, I forget the oil. Oil. Let me get you in a tripod and we can get a better look together. This tool here is to help you clean out the chute. And we have the oil. So I wanted to check the oil with you. So let's take a look at this. See what we're working with. Oil levels are really low on this. Yeah, we're gonna need some oil in there. It's like right at the bottom hole. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me back you up so you can get a better look. Maybe a little hard to see, but that's the best we have. It's like right at the bottom of that hole. Okay, so it should be a little higher. All right, great. Now the problem, right, that the client said is it's not getting fuel. So let's take a look and see what we can figure out from that information. I want to try to give this a little bit of a start and see what happens. So to do that, I want the choke all the way open. Prime it. Should only do it 3 times, they say. Okay, I made a mistake there. The key's in. I have the symbol and the rabbit symbol all the way to the rabbit here. I'm gonna pull start it. See what we get. So for something so new, it shouldn't require so many pulls. So let's just go ahead and check and see if we are getting fuel. But before we do that, let's start with the simpler parts. I'm gonna take the shroud off the engine and see if actually it has any spark. So I thought it would have been easy shroud to take off, but then I want you to look at something here. See this bolt right here? That is behind this. So to get this shroud off, I'll have to pull it off, but I can't because that's there. That means I'm gonna have to pull this piece off itself. So that's a whole other set of like tasks I like to avoid if I don't have to. But I feel like I'm gonna have to do it anyway. So anyway, for now, let's just go ahead and try to get the spark plug out. The spark plug itself is a zoom down. All right, so it uses the bigger spark plug socket, and usually if you have a spark plug set, it'll have like a couple sizes, 2 sizes. This is the wider one, so get that in there. It's not my favorite working conditions. I'm kind of like mobile right now, and sometimes you forget tools. Like I would have a longer extension to do this, but you do the best you can with what you have right now. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's that. That spark plug looks really, really, really good. It's not wet, there's no carbon deposits. I'm going to test for spark. Alright. See what I can do to get ourselves set up a little better. I don't know if I'll have to get you into a different spot so you can see it, we can see it together. Alright, yeah, let me think about this for a second. Get you set up so you can see it. Go for it. Ready? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. One more? Yeah. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
No problem.
So I want to get this shroud off right here, engine cover, and it's a pain in the butt. I can see it already. So you have these bolts. I think these are 10mm bolts right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the problem. That's my problem right there. That does not want to come off if that's in front of it. So what became a simple thing, these buttons we'll have to pull off. Slide that off. Primer probably stays in place, maybe? That comes off. This looks like this will probably slide out. With these 2 bolts right here. Right there. We have another 2. Oh no, sorry. This has nothing to do with it. That's the fuel tank. This bolt and that over there will be what pulls this plastic cover off, and I think it's probably going to be a bolt that holds this up. Alright, so let's go ahead and tear into it and see what we can do and see what we find, shall we? This is a 10mm. I'm going to place these in this baggie. Yeah, great. This top bolt to pull off. Okay. Actually, no. Let's see what we have down here. This is a 10mm also. You know, I totally forgot to show you what the other bolts look like. Yeah, sorry. Alright, the bolts I pulled off just now, the Trode, they look like this. Okay. Alright. And this little friend here. So that is what that looks like. So we have 2 of these to pull off. We're on the other side, and if you're facing, if you're in the operator this position here, we're on the right side. And this is also another 10mm bolt. I'm doing this because I need to get this out of the way so I can get that last bolt off to remove the shroud on the engine. This is I call it engine cover too, but whatever. Might have multiple names. Man, I gotta get my longer extension here. That being off, you can see right here, we have that bolt, and that should give us the ability to move this so we can get that engine shroud off. So these two bolts are 13mm bolts. I am. I totally am. Huh? No, but when it does, we'll be ready. That's right. Alright. There we go. Tilt it. So what I'm going to try to do is leave that one in. Maybe, or not. Just take this off. Feels like it's Loctited on there too. Which makes sense. This thing vibrates a lot, so they would use Loctite in places like this. Maybe more generic language would be like a thread locker adhesive, something like that. See if I can just slide that over. Yeah, no. Oh, you know what? This plate actually has another bolt down here. I'm gonna have to remove. Just saw that. Okay, let's continue down this path. got one more. This is what they look like. Those two just pulled off. All right, we have one more to go to loosen up that plate. All right, so we have giving you a bit of a manager view, and I'm gonna get this out. This is a 19 millimeter. Is it 19? Yeah, it's 19 millimeters. And I gotta loosen this up. I took some photos of this space so you can see what it looks like. Hopefully, because of its vintage, I don't have to fight too much to get this off. Come on. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I like that snapping sound, you know? Ah, voila. There we go. Alright, we are good. That moves. Now we can actually go ahead and get that bolt out. So you can see this is now being able to slide it around. Just need to get it out of the way. I'm going to go back here with a 10 millimeter again. And I left the bolt that's holding this in place intact by the belt, just to let you know. Alright, that's those same size things. Let's see if we get the shroud off. Oh, we're almost there, is it? I think so. Alright. Let's see what we got. Let's see if we can get this thing off. What's holding you, baby? Yeah, it's definitely all one big piece. Okay. From looking at it some more, I think these two are the only ones that are like holding it onto this metal to this plastic. So if I pull this bolt and that bolt, it should be fine. I think they're both 10 millimeters also. Yep, they are. So I don't need to get that part off, at least I don't think so, not right now. Yeah, I'll probably need a little different tool. I just want to show you this came off from the side here and here. I'm going to pull that one off with a wrench, and it's a little bit longer than the other that we're holding on the metal, on. So just so you can see the difference. It's a little longer, but it's still a 10 millimeter. This out under the way. There we go. This should just lift right off. Voila! Yes. There we go. We're almost there, people. Nothing holding you there, right? Nothing holding you there. Come on. Come on. So that's that. Alright, we have an exhaust there. We don't care about that. We care about fuel. We have one line here coming into from the primer bulb, and all right, cool. I'm gonna look a little closer. Before we go any further, I want to just check and see if this fuel is making it to the carburetor. I think that the carburetor is behind there. This looks like a fuel line to me. Fuel shutoffs somewhere. What else? I'm gonna take a look and see if there's a fuel shutoff. It's a nice windy day today, so that means really bad audio. I'm preparing you. Okay, we gotta pull some bolts off because I gotta get to this oil, this fuel tank. Now the fuel tank, it's all plastic, and I don't. When I look at it, right, it just looks like it's being covered by these. So we have that there, and maybe something over there. Because I'm just trying to get this. I need to get access to the where the lines are. So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. So this is what I'm seeing. This plastic piece here starts here, moves around, ends there. I don't think it's going to be the fuel tank. So I'm going to remove those 4 bolts. They're 10 millimeters. So start with that. That's the fuel line coming right out of the fuel tank. So if I open this up and fuel comes out, we have an idea that we're onto something. Let's see if any fuel comes out. Here we go. Let's see what we got. wet. Yep, that is fuel. Okay. All the things I didn't want to have happen. Okay. We're good. Okay. That is a lot of fuel, ladies and gents. Okay. Alright. So we have fuel coming from the tank. Lots of it. Okay, so where do we go from here? Let's think about this. Other than clean that mess up first. Highly inflammatory mess. We definitely know there's fuel in the line. Okay, so we are... There's no fuel coming... Okay, let me check over here now. Let's see what happens if I go on the other side. 1 second. So guess what? I totally see it. Right here, right, is the fuel line. Right, that fuel line dumps right into the carburetor right here. And in between the carburetor and right here, it will never get to here because it goes to the carburetor first. So the problem is not fuel getting to the system, but it's got to be the carburetor itself. So let's see if the carburetor is stuck, clogged. Okay, so we got to pull this off and go from there. Like that. We have longer ones in the back over here, and a shorter one is going to be up front on this side. So pull this knob off. This can stay. Primer bulb has a hose that goes into it. I'll show you from this side so you can get a better view. Sorry, it's a little hard to get a good view, but the primer bulb itself has a little hose right here. So, I want you to really see it. So let me move the camera manually here. Okay. Let's see. Oops, sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. That's the shot. Okay. You see? Right here, in here. It's gonna like take that up and off of there. And then I'm gonna have to pull this off. There, okay? It's a little dark to see in there. I hope you can see it. I have two little tabs to slide off the back of this. At least I think that's how they do. Or not. Okay. Yeah. I think the button clips and unclips. I just really need to get this thing out of the way. I'm going to take the hose off the bottom over here for the, yeah, that's too close for you to see. Oops. There's a hose at the bottom here for the primer bulb that goes into the carburetor.
take that off from the bottom over here. If I can get to it. That's cool. Doesn't really look like it. Let me push this out. But yeah, that's out of the way. Okay. So choke's out of the way. I think I might just pull this button off to get that out of the way. Pull that off. Yeah, and pull this knob off. Yeah, let's try that. But give you another shot so you can see what's happening. All right, these buttons have to come off. That'll help me slide the pieces around. So, or not. Hold on one second. Good, sort of that kill switch looks like it's gonna just slide right off the tabs in the back here. All right, how about this button? Can I pull that off? Come on. You know you want to come up. Alright, I gotta get this button off. Let's see. How do I do that? Maybe I can. So if I get this out, if I get this disconnected. Right, let me see if I can undo those connectors. So just try to undo the kill switch. Yeah, that's the way to go. Totally. At least I think of this. Yeah, no. Alright, let me think about this for a second. Alright, there's two tabs here for this key. It's kill switch, right? I'm going to push these tabs in. I'm going to squeeze in them like that so I can get this button out. Okay. Now the button's out. Now you can see better. Alright, see here we have two switches. Slide it off. That's one. There you go. Okay. So both of these are slid off. That's free. Still might have to pull this off. That looks like it's going to fight a little bit more. It does have a little dent that holds it, so. Lucky for us, we do not have to pull that button, the head of that, what do you call it, choke off. It just actually kind of slides right out, right there. And I was afraid of that, because that thing was going to put up a fight. Okay. So, now that's off. Here's the, this is the line for the primer. So what I'm going to do here, see, yeah, I'll bring it around to this side so you can see. All right, you're in manager cam mode. Here we go. We have this. Push that through. That just kind of slides over the hump like that. Okay, that's free. This should be able to slide off easily. Easily, right. Just like that. Alright, well anyway, right here into the carb. I need to get this carb out of here so I can actually clean this thing. It's pretty clogged. Alright, let's take some photos so that way we can see what's going on, so we're working with. We have ourselves a truck here. Alright, that's how that works. Alright, cool. Yeah. Maybe from here? Yeah, no. Alright, so if I have to cut this off, I will replace it. I hope I don't have to, but some hot water would work really well to loosen that up. Let's see what's going on. But anyway, I have to pull this carb. I'm going to have to also clean it. So let's continue. Take some pieces off. Alright, just watch me struggle as I pull this carb apart. I might have to compromise this line, so I'm prepared for that. That's still good. That's off. Alright, with that being off, we have governor spring here. Yeah. We have 2 bolts here. It's probably 10 millimeters. Let's see what they are. Yep, they're 10 millimeters. Two nuts, I mean, sorry. So 2 nuts. Comes off. This carburetor should just slide right off. Yeah, okay, good. So now we need to get this hose line free. Okay. Slide that off. Alright. That's free. Then I'll pull this off later when I get more access. I have a hose line over here, a fuel line. Okay, this is gonna create a mess, so I need to like be strategic about how I do this because there's a lot of fuel in here. Okay, so we have a spring here, governor spring. And this looks like that slides out. The gasket that just fell off. Did you see what happened, people? Was it like that? Yeah. Alright, fans. I hope that's what happened. Okay, so we have a gasket. Let's leave that there. And this is a better shot to see what I'm going to try to do. I have to try to bend this wire out of the way. Sorry, not wire. To get this off of the carburetor. It's almost there. If I just go like that, and then lift up. That was easy, right? It's like hard to figure out sometimes how much to push, you know, when you're unfamiliar with the product. Okay, so that's out of the way. This carburetor should slide right off. Okay, so looks like I'm gonna have to lower the. I need to tie this off before I even continue because it's gonna leak fuel everywhere. I'm gonna use my vice grips with my sock around it so I don't damage the line. There's a fuel clamp. Hopefully that'll work. And then what I'll do, take this part of the just so you can see I'm taking my just taking that clamp back, and that should free up the slide the fuel line off the carburetor at the bottom. Coming out. We're gonna have to do a little bit of keeping this elevated. So I'm just trying to elevate this as much as possible. See if that slows down the fuel leaking. There. Get fuel clamps, people. It's just fuel clamps is so much easier. All right. Okay, with that up, it should slow it down some. It should. Business should. I don't know if it will. Yeah, no. Come on. Not sure what to stay. Okay. Alright, so that's off. We need to get this handle down some so we can get this carburetor off. This is a bit of a hard angle to get at. I'm a little confused about this hardware too because it feels like some of it's metric and some of it's standard. I'm going to take off, there's 4 bolts that hold this on to the frame. They're 1/2 inch. I'm going to just loosen up the bottom and take off the top so I can just slide this down a little bit. Like that. 1/2 inches. All right. I don't know why I made that plural. I'm sorry, 1/2 inch.
Alright, let's do the other side. The battery's about to die. That's nice. If it dies, you know what I'm doing. Trickery's going on here. No secrets.
Top ones are taken all the way out so I can slide the handle back so I can get the carburetor off. Alright, that should work.
Let's see if this is a success.
Yep, we're good. Drop that much. Carburetor is off. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is slide this back up. Put the bolts back in. Let's get the tension off, and then we'll move on from there. So just temporarily putting that back on so that way we can just keep this together. So yeah, that's it. Just temporarily putting it back on.
We're back at the office, and before we proceed, what I want to do is take a couple photos of this little friend of ours. As you know, you never know what we're going to encounter. So let's just go ahead and take some photos of that, and I'll show you those, and we'll proceed to tear this carburetor apart and give it a good cleaning. These are 10 millimeters. I like to do this now over the table because I haven't had such good luck with like springs flying away from me. So I'm giving myself a fighting chance, keeping it over the magnetic table. Before I do that, also let's just go and get some of this hose I can pull off. There, and oops, make sure I'm doing anything weird with the camera. Back it out a little. All right. Okay. So this float bowl has two nuts. This is going to be for the main jet, I believe. I'll know for sure once I look inside. Anyway. Yeah. So that has a little gasket on there. All right. This one feels like it's gonna fight Wow, that was hard. Okay, that also has a little gasket on it. Alright, flip bowl off, a little bit of feel in here. Let's get that out. Flip bowl looks pretty good. Okay, what do we have here? We have this. I'm gonna get this little smaller container. Okay, let's get this needle out. I don't know if I didn't show it to you. That's the needle. And then should we just slide this off? Let's keep it down so you can see. Okay, that's the float. And this has a little spring on it, so to get this off we go slide that way and then down. So see, it goes up like that and like that. So it just slides underneath the float. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like this upgrade in their design. So you just go slide this way. No, it doesn't want to come off. And then down. Cool, and there's a spring on it. Let's try not to lose that. Alright. Put that there. And inside of this, can you see inside of there? Get you a little bit of light. It's inside of there. We're going to use a flathead screwdriver and spin that out. Because I'm so prepared, I have my flathead screwdriver ready to go. Yeah, no I don't. But we'll take it off eventually. Okay. Let us get these butterflies off. Okay, this is easy. Just pull. Again, let's take a look at it together so we can see what's happening. So we have a spring here, and when this is in the furthest position here, sorry, can you see that? Yeah. Okay, when this is in this furthest position here, we are in this open position. Turn it over to that side, we're closed. Okay, so open, closed. You know what, I think, let me give this a little bit of a mark, just to help me remember. I'm sure you'll remember. Okay. Okay, when this, okay, that's open, so I'm going to put an O right there. Nice and dark so you can't see it. A little green on black. And that means that's the position this is in when that's there. So it's just going to help me like with any, if I have any orientation issues later. Alright, we can pull that out. Get that out of the way. Oh, by the way, just take a look at that butterfly. it's keyed right here, so you don't really have to worry about how to put it back in. And yeah. Okay. That's how numbers are facing that way. The numbers on there are so gummy. This is what happens to the ethanol. It just sits in there. It just makes this gummy like stuff on the carburetor. And the number on it is 1112. So again, it's really gummy. If you can see that stuff, and that's what kind of clogged up the carburetor. The client, just they just believed that it was okay to keep it with the fuel stabilizer. Even with the fuel stabilizer, it's gonna gum up the actual carburetor itself. Just something to keep in mind. All right. Now we have this butterfly, and I'm going to use a P4 Phillips. I've had more luck with the P4, even though it seems like extremely large for something so small, because the other stuff seems to cam out. I'm not trying to strip it. So I recommend using P4, even though it's larger. It just does prevent it from camming out and stripping the heads of these really soft screws. All right. As you can see, there's a washer on these little things. I'm not going to bathe these, so what I'm going to do is keep them here in this container. Again, they have washers on them, just so you know. So you can see little tiny washers. See that? Okay. We have two of those. And this butterfly should just slide right out. Yep. Bathe that. And that should let me pull this right out. Yeah. That's perfect. So, okay, when it hits that side, open, this side's closed. Yeah. Over there, write open on that side. So I'm just going to write an O over here. That bumps up against that side. This is an O. That means this butterfly is open. All right. Hopefully I won't get the orientation messed up or anything like that. Okay. That was a little pathetic. Let's just put that O here. It's the white dot. Yeah, O's good. There you go. Okay, so now we know when we hit that, that's got to be in the open position. So we should be able to pull that off. Great. I'm not going to bathe that. All right. Okay, so we have these little plastic pieces right here. This just unscrews. Probably should have counted how many threads in this thing is. I don't know. Good job. Okay, that looked like that sat inside of that little hole right there, and just kind of spun. So put that in a non-bathing pile, and also a non-bathing pile. And can that come off? Yes, that does. Okay, great. This comes out. Now that can, there is a little bit of a filter in there. I wonder if that, okay, we're going to clean that out. It's plastic. Okay, we're almost there. Let's get ourselves a flathead for inside of that, and we should be all pulled apart. So you still had to do a little bit of grinding to get the get a screwdriver that actually will fit in there. I'm sure there's a special screwdriver for it. But anyway, so I grinded it off quite nicely, and this gives me a little leverage because my handle's broken, and also even with my handle not broken, I would still need a little bit of leverage. So I slide it down in there. Yep. Cool. Right, so that is good. You gotta remember there are some threads on the inside of this emulsion tube that you don't want to damage. So just make sure you keep your screwdriver as much as possible in the center. I'm going to push that down in the middle there. So we get this out. Okay. Okay, that goes in. Okay, the longer side is in first. Okay, so it goes this long side in, then this short side follows, just like that. And there is, to my awareness, there's no rubber anything in there, which is great. I bet you right here there is a rubber gasket in between that. It's just a hunch. I don't think it is. I'm correct all the way, but just have a hunch. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. I'm feeling really happy with how this has worked out. Put that over there. We will go ahead and bathe this in the ultrasonic cleaner and move on. Good. Oh wait, one more thing. Almost forgot. There's a gasket right here, which is really awesome because it's very reusable. All right. That's the nice thing about these models. Working with newer models, you don't really have to worry about the gaskets too much because they're fairly pliable still. All right, and this, just to correct myself, I think this is from I think this is a 2016 model. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna bathe all these pieces and see what the end result looks like. All right. We have all this cleaned up. Looks pretty good. Need to blow some air through these parts just to like help with clearing all the passages. And yeah, let's give that a shot. Yeah, weird feeling you get when you want to blue something the way that's got it bored. Yeah, alright, cool. Let's just pray for the best. Oh, I suck. Alright, here we go. Yeah, don't forget your glasses, people. Alright, glasses are important. Yeah. So I was blowing and the air went towards the direction of the my little collection of parts here. So I'm hoping that nothing important kind of flew away. I'll soon find out, won't I? Actually, I want to do one more thing. this here needs to be blown out. There's a little filter in this, so let's do that also. Blowing it out. Yep. Cool. Wish for the best, right? We're gonna go into reverse order now. Let's try to put this back together. No, first thing I'm gonna do is place the emulsion tube back, and let's see what that looks like. Well, that has a lot of little holes right here in it. You know what? We need to blow those out. So, 1 second. I'm going to blow those out, and I'm going to do it away from the stuff. Watch me go launch it across the room. Yeah, see who's laughing now, huh? It's got a lot of little fine holes. Oh God. I want to do a little extra precautionary kind of like cleaning, so I got some tools here. I'm gonna poke around at these holes a little, make sure that there's nothing in these holes. Hopefully you saw those last two things. All I'm trying to do is just find all the holes and making sure that I get all the way through. Alright, all those passages up there. This one right here. That's clear. There's another one right there. Go a little smaller. Yeah, too small. That's pretty good. So that's clean. I'm gonna do the same for this. Those top 6 are clear. just go all the way through the middle on that. Okay, that's good. Alright, let's do this. Same thing. It's a little smaller. There's no slide holes in this, so we're good. Alright, so that's it. All the holes are cleared. Moving on. Alright, back to where we were. Putting this carburetor back together. So all the holes are cleaned out nicely. Okay, this goes in. Let's see. So it's a smaller part. Goes in first, like that. Yeah. I'm sorry, look, so you can see. The smaller part. This longer part here at the top, that goes in first. So shows that. Now we take the longer part of this and drop it down inside. This one's a no-brainer because you can't screw it down without it. There's only one way the threads on this will work, so you don't have to think too much about the orientation for that. So that's that, and yeah, so far so good. Alright, so that's seated. We need to put the needle back in with the float. Let's see what we have. So that'll go like that. Alright, we need to take this needle has a spring on it. Such a cool design. And it slides underneath the spring, such as that. Then slides forwards, just like this. And we take, oops. So I'm going to make sure this is a very clean bowl. I'm sorry, float. It goes back in here. Then we take the needle. Now this carburetor looks like a Tachometer carburetor. The design is pretty similar, I would say. Yeah, looks pretty similar. Okay. Alright, cool. That goes all the way in. Now, here's the thing. You want to look at the level make sure this is leveled. Right? And if it seems a little high or too low, then we have an issue. Alright, now we want to do a test to make sure that the airflow is correct. So I have this extra fuel line. See, I wrote the letter M. That's where I put my mouth. Because I don't want to put my mouth anywhere close to the fuel itself. So see if I can just like get something on there so I can blow. I just want to blow some air through this. I'm not sure if this will fit. Okay, so if that's not going to fit, what I'm going to have to do is just use my air compressor and see if I can get some airflow and test it. When I flip it upside down, if it stops, if it's right side up, if it goes. All right. So, okay, let's give it a try. Float's definitely moving. I push air through it. Let me see what happens on this side. Okay, so I should pushes back. Okay, it's down. Passes up. Okay, so this pushes the air back. Sorry, I mean it comes through. When it's here, tries to push it back. So that we know that all those passages are going through, get into the needle. Okay? What would be a good thing to have is a fuel line that matches the width of, I don't know which one's the actual in. Yeah. Yeah, this is in on the fuel. I think. No. Yeah, yes it is. Okay. Anyway, so that would be the in. And that's how I would now would blow through there and see if air goes through past the needle. If it doesn't, I'll flip it upside down and blow it. If it stops, and then we know that how we have the correct behavior pattern for the float and the needle. Alright, let's move on. Let's just make sure. This looks a little wonky. Gotta be careful blowing all the air through this stuff because it's high enough of a pressure that it does weird stuff. Alright. With that seated, we need to get the gasket back on. So let's put this gasket back on. Okay. I'm just realizing that the buildup from the fuel sitting in it really did a number on this thing. So. Okay.
2 bolts. This wider bolt with the orange on top goes like that. The smaller one with this gasket goes like that. And both of these, they were 10 millimeters, so nothing too crazy. Okay, good. Now we're at the top. Right on, right on. Okay, here we go. So we had to put this butterfly back. Remember I wrote O on that side. Right here on the, when this goes in, it pushes this way, the butterfly's all the way open. That was the point of that. Just gonna lubricate the hole a little bit. Drop that in, such as this. Yeah, they might be overkill marking all this stuff, you know. I am being a little paranoid. That's all. So pardon my apologies on being paranoid. Anyway, or being very like cautious, I think. Cautious, paranoid, kind of similar. Yeah, okay, so these, how do you know which one to drop in first? If you look closely at these metal against metal parts, you can see certain things. Like this has light, faint lines. That's how you know that this was actually touching against that metal right there. So I'm going to try to drop this in. Just want to line it up. Okay, so that's lined up. And these 2 little friends of mine, screws, you remember those things? Yeah, they have washers on them, and they're super small. Yeah, those. Boy. So they have little tiny lock washers on them. And this is the time I wish I had a screw holder. I can see why one would want a screw holder. I don't want to strip these, so gotta be careful. Nothing too crazy. All right. I want to loosen this up a little bit just to, so I can slide this around. Okay. Feels good. That's also good. Okay, so that's it. We have the little parts that was here and another butterfly over there. We have 3 little plastic parts. I need to go back now. I
have a feeling these might be, at least this one might control the idle speed. Alright. Yeah, the first part we gotta put in is this plastic part. And that just goes down in there. It has a little bit of a key to stop it so you can get the orientation right. And then this goes on top like that. This screws in. Now this has a half moon shape to it. And what I had said to you is like I was unsure how much to turn this, you know. So I'm going to go with that for now, and then what I will do is, in hindsight, what I should have done was take my marker, just color this side with all white, and then what would happen is when I come back to it, I'll know for sure, like, oh, hey, yeah, that's it. That's as far as that goes. Alright, so there we go. I feel good about that. We have one more piece to put on. Okay, that would be this. Now this needs... I'm not sure if I marked it or not. Yeah, I did. Okay. So a little green right there is where I marked it. And that was to indicate that that butterfly was open all the way. So I want to push this down some. Let's make sure. Okay. That is a flexible spring. I'm going to just move this over. Just gotta get out of the way. Just so I can slide this down. Get a little better leverage. Okay. So that's good. And put a little 3-in-1 oil right in there, just to get that as lubricated as possible. Now I'm in the open position. Can't really mess it up because when it turns, it What do you think, people? I think that's it. to move. Yeah, no, it doesn't want to move much, does it? Alright. What are we thinking? Thinking that... Pull this back out. Turn it around. Let's put that more open. I don't really know if that makes sense, to be honest with you. Let me think about this. That doesn't feel right. Alrighty, we're back again. Alright, so I got it. I think I got it. Let me just make sure you get it, I get it. We both get it together. Oh, let's get it together. It's a lot of getting. So the numbers were on the left side here. This went in like that. And that turns. Okay. Cool. All right, that's it. Nothing else. With this, just want to make sure that closes all the way. Can you see? Yeah. So just line it up so it closes all the way. So it's open all the way. It's closed all the way. And you can tell because it has these. It's on both sides. So that's how you know it's in far enough, because the indentations are on both sides. It's kind of like the lock that grabs the plastic. Okay, so the carburetor itself should be good to go. Alright, we did it. Almost forgot one more thing. We have a hose. This goes to the primer. So, yep, that's the fuel line in. Okay. Alright, that's that. That was easy. Wish it was always that easy. Good. Alright, we are done with this, and we just have to put it back together. I'm sorry, put it back on the machine, and it should work. Alright, so I gotta get that old gas out of there, and thinking the oil pan's the best way to go, because I'm not gonna use it. It's got a lot of like additives in it, so I'm gonna put fresh gas in here after. So let's see if we can get that out. Alright, that took a long time. So we need to loosen up, take off these top bolts again so we can get the space to put the carburetor in. These are 1/2 inch, and there's 4 of them, but we only took off 2, so That's one. Then we'll come over to the other side over here, so you can see it. There's another one right here. So we want to be careful with this because we don't want it to like fly back. So I got to hold on to this. Create some space. Here's the carburetor. So the gasket is on here already. Oh, I don't think you can see it. Hold on. Okay. Right. Make sure we're just gonna throw the carburetor on. Okay. So I'm just gonna hold this there. There's a gasket here already. And then so we get this out of the way so we can put the carburetor on. Okay, great. So that's that. Once that's on, we are good to go. We're gonna go ahead and tighten back up the screws at the bottom because the space is no longer needed. All right, so back you up so you can see what I'm doing. Again, these are 1/2 inch, so that's 4 of them. Actually, I'll give you a better shot. All right. I apologize in advance if I get in your way, but you can deal with it emotionally. It's not too bad. Okay. What we have over here. Okay. This side feels better than that side, so. Remember, we loosened up the bottom also just to make it slide. So tighten that up also. I won't go all the way in. Let me just keep it a little loose actually. Well, I think the top one's a little tight right now, but I don't know, let me see. Make sure that this turns well. Okay, that feels good. Alright, tighten up the top here. Bottom bolt also. Okay. I'll do the bottom on the other side. Okay, good. All right, that's done. Okay, so we have this place. Okay. Nope. Okay, gotcha. We got to get the governor on, so this is a little tricky at first. So it comes around and into that hole. I don't think you can see it really well. Here, give you a better angle. See if that's better. Yeah, right there. A little right there. Okay. Okay. So this governor goes around, bends, and slides into the carburetor. That space right here.
Oh, come on. And then this governor spring hooks onto the carb right here. A little spot pocket. So it'll do that. Okay, with that in place, now we need to let's go back this side. We have a filter. Well, not a filter. I'm not even sure what this is. Alright, what I can tell you though, this is going to go through here. This little pocket right here. Slide onto. I'll show you what I mean. Okay. Alright, so carburetor's in place. Fuel line goes on top like that. Okay, that's in place. Now we just want to move that clamp. Get that clamp onto the line. Down, you can do it. Come back up. Right there. Okay, so that's on. Alright. And then we need to take the okay, so there's a gasket that goes on here. Like that. You want to wipe this off a little. Where's my sock? Okay, here we go. Then we have two 10mm nuts that go on top of that. Down. Oops, the other way. All right, so we have that in place. Fuel lines on. Okay, we're gonna get this line into position. So come around from this side, so you can see.
there. Take a look. That line goes through, slides into here, right into the engine. Okay. Let's clamp that on. Okay. There we go. All right. We now need to. Let's see. We have a primer. Goes right here. Okay, cool. Let's. Oh yeah. Hey, we had to. We had to cut some stuff off. Remember that stuff? Right there. Yeah, let's get that out of the way. So that's good. We got a couple things in. We got a key, right? That key has these two metal prongs, and this is going to be our primer. Goes into our primer bulb. This goes into the primer bulb, into the carburetor. So that's what we need to attach, those two things. Try to give you your best view possible. This is what connects. See those two? That's what it gets. That needs to go into the key, and they're going to ground out to kill the engine, kill spark if necessary. All right, and this key here, we gotta. There we go. We're gonna slide this on. So remember this little funky thing? That was like a little pain in the butt, and that was around like this. That comes through the top. Yeah? What do you think? Like that. Alright. Okay. I say before we go any further, let's just snake that through there. And then this has to come through here. This also has to slide through. This a little challenging. I remember that. We could just pull that handle off. Let's see. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay. I was a little afraid to pull it off the first time. That goes through. And, oh, so you know what? Even better. Oh, let's do this right. We have to figure out the right order. Okay, let's try to see what we come up with as a group, shall we? What are you thinking? Primer bulb first? I got more leeway with this. You know what? Put the button in first. Alright, make sure we get the right orientation. I mean, there's no orientation, it just goes in and out. I need that. Alright, I was just testing you. Okay, so look what I did. Can you see this? Yeah, let me zoom away a little so that way get a better shot. Let's back it up a little, sorry. Okay. So put the key in first, like that. There's tabs on the side. So, okay, the key's in first, and then we want to connect. Thinking, yeah, let's do these next because we have a lot of room on these. And then we should be able to say slide this around and under. There's a hook right here that this goes around and under like that. Same thing up top.
Now, should we get this primer bulb in? Slide it over. Possible? Yeah. Alright, so slide this onto the carburetor, that hose. Oh boy, that hose is ripped. That sucks. Yeah, I'm gonna have to replace that. Alright, well, let's just see if I can get it started. Or maybe I can. Maybe I'll have enough. I doubt it. Yeah, you know, so this is, I'm going to try to cut it and see if I can get any more out of it for now. Okay, my issue is when I pull this off, I definitely made a cut here. I'm going to try to just slice this off a little bit and see if I can get a little bit more utility out of this line. If not, I'm gonna have to get a new one. Okay. Primer line is on. So we can slide this over. Move you back a little bit. You're in my way. All right. Everything is still connected. Most important is that key. Make sure that key is connected, because that's our kill. You don't want to start this up and not be able to turn it off, you know? Alright, so that's in. So we have... Yeah, so, oh wait, let me show you something about this. So the orientation of that. So that top groove is going to be up top, like this, where that hole is. We have 3 bolts like that. We need to put back. 2 of the long ones are in the back. That's those 2, and then sorry, these 2, and then the shorter ones on the side over here, on that side of the. You'll see. Okay, 2 long ones are going to be back here. They are 10 millimeters. Long, another long up there. Alright, and then we have a short one, not up there, but down here. Okay. I think we should, before I continue to
put this back together any further, we should probably test it and see if it starts. What do you think? Yeah? You think it'll start? I hope so too. All right, here we go. All right, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna like prime it, put some fuel in, new fresh fuel. I'm gonna hit the primer. Sorry, cabin. That sounds good. And let me show you what I'm doing from this side so you can see. So I kind of like primed it like 10 times. And then, you know what, we should put... Let's get this button on there. We might need that. Silly me. Alright, that's the choke. I'll put the choke like midway. Keys in, I'm sorry. Put this all the way on a rabbit. Yeah, all the way on the rabbit. And then give it a couple pulls. You think it'll start? Hope it starts. Really hope it starts. Looks like we got ourselves a winner. I see some tripping happening, so we'll have to like look. We'll have to address that. Oh, I don't know. Did you see me pull and start that thing? Ah, here we go. Try it again. The camera did some weird stuff there, didn't it? All right. Key back in. Like a charm. Alright, so this is what we learned. Even with fuel stabilizer, don't keep the fuel in the engine. You gotta get all the fuel out of there because it just doesn't do well. Alright, great. It'll clog your carburetor, it'll make it gummy. Alright, we gotta get a little cover for this gas tank part on. It's a plastic cover. I believe it's yeah, there's four bolts that go on this. And there are 10 millimeters. They are shorter side. I think that's the right size. I don't know, that looks fishy. I don't know, let me see. Yeah, that's right. Is that really right? I don't even think that's right now. That couldn't be right. I don't know about that. I think that's not right. I think it's these longer ones. See, take a look at these. See that shorter one right there? That, oops, come back. Yeah, that short, that's the short one. don't think that's the right one. I think it's those longer, these 4 longer ones versus that small one. All right, let me take this back out. What do we? Gotta come forwards a little. This comes down. Alright, that looks like we're gonna have a little fight going on there. Let's fight with that later. Now, let's fight with it now. Now is better. Looks like that's the tough side to get in. What I'll do, I'll put that side on first. And then that feels like that'll make more sense. Take those off. Yeah. And then line this part up. Come on. We can do it. You know you want to go back. Outside parts, I bet you that'll work better. Go like that. That's out of alignment. Good. That looks like it's cross-threaded, or going to be. Sometimes they fight so much. This would have been so hard. Come on. There's... Okay, that feels better. Yep, that's good. No cross-threading happening there. I gotta get like a microphone or something. Like windy days like this, it's like the worst for doing making videos. Get a microphone. Keep it close to my body. All right. Nothing like an instructional video that you can't hear what I'm trying to say.
Alright, don't over tighten these because you are screwing into plastic.
Okay, that's that. We had to put this heat shield on, and it has two 10mm bolts, one on this side and one on that side. One on this side that holds it together. I think this is a shorter 10mm. See what happens. That feels good. So a short one back here. As if this is not awkward enough, right? I'm gonna loosen those bottom bolts up because I think I need a little bit more, I need to get this plastic lined up with that hole, and I need to be able to move it around a little bit more. So I'm taking these off, and so I'll loosen this up a little. Okay. Well, what I think I'll be able to do is, yeah, there you go. I think I'll be able to line this up a little better. Let me tell you, this thing does not want to cooperate. That made a big difference. Oh, I think I got it. Boom! See your old mama. Right there. Okay, that's good. That's lined up. And let's see. I'm gonna line up the sides over here. I think I'm going to leave these a little loose, just for now. I'm going to leave everything loose because I have a strong feeling I'm going to have to fight a little bit over here on this side. Alright. So I don't have the right tool right now, but the threads on this, they're a little funky. I can feel it cross-threading, so I need to get a tap just to like try to like get in there and clean up the threads a little. So I'm gonna avoid that bolt for now. So we have a 10mm here. This one's a little funky to get in. You have to like push up onto there, push the metal frame in like that.
We have a 10 millimeter right at the bottom. Another 10 millimeter. The reason why I made that choice is that I can tell, like, this goes in pretty easily. See, I can hand tighten it. It's actually going down. That one I can't hand tighten. As soon as I start to hand tighten it, it just starts to get it just gets that feeling like, oh yeah, it's cross-threaded. So stop while I'm ahead. Back to that one another day. All right, another time. Tighten this 10 millimeter up. That was one of the longer ones. And then over here we're going to do these two shorter 10s. These two long 10s also here. Almost there. These cables go under. Like that. Make sure that's slid all the way in. Initially, when I first took this off, I said that these were 19 millimeters. That's what I use. They're actually ½ inch. So use ½ inch. Let's line the plate up. Okay. That's one. These are again, so flat bolts. They're 19. Not 19. They're ½ inch. 19 is close to ½ inch. That's why they do have some Loctite thread lock on them. Actually, should put that on there. Yeah, that's going to have to be done later. right, remember that bottom one that we had loose? Yeah, let's go and tighten that one up also. Oh, that's a big one, sorry. Yeah, maybe that's the 19 down there. Okay. Yeah, it's actually 3/4. 919. I made a mistake. So let's go and tighten that up. To do this, I'm gonna have to match the thread pitch. Because remember that little hole? I'm sorry, the threads are a little boogered up. I couldn't get the nut in. This is what I have to do. I know this is a 10 millimeter, right? And because it's a 10 millimeter, I know I have to use. These come in like metric and standard. This is a metric one, and I'm gonna use this to figure out the thread pitch. Okay, so what you would do, it comes with you can see it has a whole lot of different teeths, right? It's super useful to have this tool, by the way. I got it from Lowe's. You can get it from Lowe's, they have them. So I know this is a 1.0, and you line it up, and as it looks, does it have a really, let's see how close I can get. See how the teeth all match the nut? So that's good. You know this is a 1.0. It's a metric. So then you take your tap and die, right? And you do the same thing. And you can see that matches. Now let's say you don't have this. Totally fine. You can just go ahead and grab your bolt like that and try your best to see if it's long enough, if that'll match. See, this is a little hard to do, so this is an example. Like, okay, it's kind of like hints to me like that matches. But again, easier to just use one of these thread pitch counts. And then what I did, I can't get like the tool on there to turn it. The space is too tight, so I'm going to try to use a. This is a 12 point, and it's 7/32 socket. Like that onto it, and I'm gonna see if I can give you a really good shot. I'm gonna have a little hard time today because I'm using a little different tripod. So you should do some forward, some back to get the threads out. This is not exactly the most intense situation, so I'm gonna keep going forwards. Everything goes well, that should give me a nice set of threads I can use to screw into. Alright. So I'm definitely far in. Don't need to go that far. Alright. So let's back it off. What do you think? That's far enough? Should I go further? Till it bottoms out. What do you think? Yeah, I think I should go further. Definitely feels smooth now, so it's sort of following the threads that are there. Not really cutting anything else anymore. Alright, we're getting close. It's getting tighter. Yep, that's it. So that bottomed out right there. Back it off. And I got the opposite of the manager cam today. This is the anti-manager cam, subordinate cam. I really do wonder why this got stripped. Thought I was so cautious when I pulled this apart, but you know, you never know, right? Alright, let's see how that works. Alright, so I'm going to grab a bolt now. Just want to test. So I'm just trying to get as much of the metal out. Can you still see? Yeah. That looks so much better. Perfect. So that actually screws in now. So we have something to work with. Oh, sorry. Did my knee get in your way? Oh, I hate that. Sorry about that. Let's try it again. This is a shorter bolt. See, and that's what we're aiming for. That right there. Cool. All right. Two steps forwards, 3 steps back. All right, we are. Remember those 2 bolts that needed some Loctite? All right, so we got to do that right now. All right, here we go. That's how it goes sometimes. So these 2 bolts right here, they are a little pain in the butt to hold into place. I want to show you something about them. I'm gonna give you a clue as to what's happening. I don't know if you'll see it, but you see the threads. They have a little bit of a like yellow, orangey thing on them. That's usually an indicator that there's some kind of like thread lock on there. And I'm going to use Loctite, the 242. So I'm using Loctite 242. I bet you this probably wants a little bit higher strength, but 242 should be fine for now. Alright, to do that, I'm going to have to make it a little easier for myself to get these in, so I'm gonna spray these a little bit, the holes, just to help me screw them in, because it's a little dry. And these are 10 millimeters. I'm sorry, no, they're not 10 millimeters. They are 1/2 inch. Loctite. This is blue. The one that was on there was definitely orange, so it's another indicator that of which Loctite the manufacturer probably used. Again, they didn't use Loctite. Loctite's just a brand. Talking about thread locker of some sort. So let's see what we got. On this side. Yeah, that's easier. All right, let's do the other. So I noticed that I have some extra bolts there. I wonder what is it that I'm forgetting to screw back in. That's never good. Alright. So both of those have a Loctite on them, and they are 1/2 inch. Loctite on there, did you? Yes, I did put them on there. I did. Sometimes I forget that I'm recording things and just kind of operate in a way that doesn't reflect that I'm actually helping people do stuff. I apologize. But it was simple enough. Alright, we have that on. We need to tighten up this bottom bolt. That is a 3/4. I loosened this up because I needed to keep the to rotate this holder for the that. Alright, so far so good. Now we gotta put this belt cover back on. Let's see what happens. We need to put the belt cover on, and that has two bolts, one here, one over here. So that should work. Spray a little lubricant into the holes where the bolts go, because it's going to make my life easier screwing them in. Yeah, they look like that. Remember that? Lubricant on there. Okay, trash truck's coming. Trash truck gone. Trash truck. Did you hear how weird that was? Alright. So this is 10 millimeter. Clinkety clank, 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 clinkety clank. Alright, nothing too crazy because it's plastic I'm screwing onto. I'm on the other side and do the same. Sprayed some lubricant into the hole where the bolts are going. Started by hand. So let's make sure it doesn't strip anything. That feels great. That's that, and we have an interesting little problem we need to chase. We have 2 bolts. I'm not sure where they're from. Today we're going to use a tool. All it does, it measures what the tachometer would do, like cycles per second. So we're going to check and see what the cycles per second is. For this vehicle, it's rated at 32,000 RPMs. Sorry, 3,200 RPMs. So it's, from 30 to 3,300 RPMs.